to my June wrap-up video where I will be doing this all again because I've already recorded this video once, and then when I turned it off I realized it hadn't put on the microphone. Good job, Kayla. So in this video I'll be going over the 5 books that I read in the month of June and some of the books that I purchased, as well as some of the things that didn't happen. One thing that I have finally decided on is a booktuber-ish name for my channel, and that is, as you can see in the right down there where my name is, I am calling this channel Heroic Pages. I was racking my brain for a long time trying to figure it out to make sure that no one else had the same name, and I had saw this like this caption of it was like a string of female book characters like Arya from Game of Thrones, there's Anna Green Gables, there was a whole bunch of female characters, and they were being their own hero in their own story, which just spoke to me. I like strong female characters, you know, being heroes and not having to be rescued all the time. And so that just clicked with me and I came up with Heroic Pages. I still have to do a lot of branding, like some channel art and whatnot, but it's a work in progress. I also want to work on, this is kind of like an update video too. Sorry if it is long, but these are the things that I want to put out there. I want to start working on like review videos of the books that I read, whether they're gripes or things I don't like or book talks or whatever people want to call them. Like, I want to do these things and do them well. Like, I want to be able to do it without spoilers and with spoilers, and just have general discussions about books. I don't want to just showcase, this is the book I read, this is the book I bought. I want to talk about them and what I thought about them, and I need to figure out a way to do that other than, oh my god, I really like this book, or I didn't really like this book, and not be able to explain why. It's something I need to work on. Yep. So the first book that I read in the month of June, actually finished in the month of June, technically June 1st. I wasn't really sure if I finished this in May or June or not, and I had to look it up, and it's the Death Note Volume 1 by Tsugumi Oba. Yes, that's the story by. Like, I've talked about my thoughts and feelings about manga, and they haven't really changed. Is as I expected because I've seen the anime, so I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I picked up is Stay Where You Are and Then Leave by John Boyne, and this is a story that takes place like the starting of World War I and takes place a little bit after it ends as well, but it is the story of 9-year-old Alfie, whose father has gone away to war and is living his life and trying to figure things out. It is told from the point of view of Alfie as a child, which is the first time I've ever read a book that is from the point of view of a child, which is rather interesting because I've never come across it before. Like I said, his father is gone away to war, but he kind of suspects that he's not coming back. They haven't heard from him in a while. And what he does not know is his father's actually been sent to a hospital, like he's come home and he's being treated for shell shock. So the story revolves around dealing with that, and there's a lot of things that happen. I don't want to give it away. Like I said, I need to work on communicating what my thoughts and feelings without giving things away. But I really enjoyed this book. I read it in a single sitting and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. This next book I picked up on a whim just because I said I was going to start reading these books and I wasn't going to promise when I did it, but I picked up Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. I read this in a couple of sittings. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2. It was definitely more than 1. But yeah, I'm glad I finished it faster than I did read The Philosopher's Stone back in May. Just going through the series and giving myself a little refresher. I have thoughts and feelings about certain things that have happened. Like, is there no social services in the Wizarding World? Because, damn, like, Harry almost gets hit in the head with a frying pan by his aunt. Like, Where's the child services? I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars just because I liked it, but it was, you know, not mind-blowingly awesome this time around. I'm sure when I read it the first time, I was like, ah. The next book I picked up was An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, and I've heard a lot of great things about this book. I was really excited to pick it up. I was actually debating whether to read this one or Court of Thorns and Roses because I have that one as well, and I was just like, I really want to read both of these, but which one should I read first? So I picked up this one first, and this story takes place from the two different perspectives. One of Laya, who is she sells herself into slavery in order to save her brother from prison. Like, with the resistance, there are like castes and things. It's a very Romanesque feel to it, but it's not in ancient Rome. It's in like a Rome type kingdom. So, you know, they talk about plebeians, and there are scholars, and there are, I forget the different names of the factions of people, but obviously one is taken over the other, and they think they're better than them. And the other character is Elias, who is training to be a mask, which is like the super uber soldier person. And he just dreams of escaping that life because he does not want to kill people. The story takes place in the school where the masks are taught, and just dealing with everything, and things happened in this book. There is one part of it where it did not go the way I thought it was going to go, and my mind was just blown. I was like, what? And I'm talking about life and death things. Oh, I am so glad that this is being made into a second book or a series or something, that there's going to be more to this, because I do not see this as a standalone. I don't know how it's possible for this to be standalone. It's just not possible. Nope. I cannot wait until the next book comes out. It needs to come out soon. Sabaa Tahir, write your little heart out. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. After I read those 4 books in the first week and a half to 2 weeks. I think it was just the week and a half that I had read those, and I kind of, life happened, and I kind of went into not a reading slump, just like I had a little depression spell. And so I didn't feel like doing a lot of anything. I just worked, and I came home, and I just vegged out, so I didn't do a lot of reading. But when I did finally pick up a book, I knew I was sort of in the same mindset as, it's sort of like historical fiction. Like with Stay We Are and Then Leave, and then An Ember in the Ashes, they all have that feel to them. So the next book I picked up was from the His Fair Assassins series. I can't remember if it's a trilogy or series, but this is Grave Mercy by Robin Lefevre, and I really enjoyed it. It's got over 500 pages. It's a weighty book, and so sometimes they can be a little daunting, but the font was big enough, so I flew through this. This takes place in the 1400s, in medieval times, basically, in France, but in Brittany, which is like, it's in France. It's confusing, but the main character is Ismay, and she is training to be an assassin for a convent, and she is a daughter of death, which basically, you know, she was conceived by death, literally. And so are all the daughters of Saint Martin, and they are assassins. They do death's work, and they have some abilities, like she can see how someone is going to die, if they're going to die pretty soon, and there's these marks that death has marked a person for death, and she knows that it's okay to kill them, because obviously, you know, they want to be dead. Not they want to be dead. Person doesn't want to be dead, but death wants them to die. I definitely want to pick up the second and third book that I know are out. They take place from the different perspectives of the other two girls that are in this book briefly. But yeah, I kind of wish Ismay was like more in those. I don't know if she is or not. I might have Wikipedia things. I don't know. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. On to the book that I'm currently reading. And so this book was mostly read in June, but it's going to be finished in July because it is a weighty book. It's like 640 pages. And that is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. And I love this book so much right now. There are some hot Scotsmen in this book. Ooh. The character her name is Claire, and she is from 1945. She was a nurse in World War II, and this is after the war is done, and she's ready to get on with her life with her husband, and she finds herself transported 200 years back in time to the Highlands of Scotland, and she's English. So there's that. I definitely have been enjoying it. It took me a bit to get into it just because the font is a bit much to read. It's like a smallish font, and this book is very difficult to transport just because it is a floppy book. Like, I will have it in my bag and it just does this. So I try to take care of my books as much as possible. I cannot wait to finish reading it. The rest of this, oh. At the end of my May wrap-up video, I said I was reading 3 books, and I've only finished one of them, and that was Death Note. Back to these books. Okay, so this is a whenever book. I haven't picked it up. I haven't felt like reading it, so what? It's an anthology of short stories. It's not like I'm in the middle of a story. I'm in between stories at the moment. So if I pick it up, I will pick it up, and if I don't, I don't. It's not the end of the world. American Gods by Neil Gaiman, however, I have to put it down for a while. I have not picked it up at all this month. I just have not been feeling it. I'm not really into contemporary right now because it is contemporary world, like now-ish. I'm just not feeling it right now. I love the idea of mythology and gods and whatnot, but like I said, I'm not feeling it right now, so I'm gonna put it back on the shelf and I'll pick it up some other time, who knows when. But yeah, I was able to pick up a couple books this month. I didn't know if I was going to be able to or not, but I did pick up 4 books at Chapters the other day. Picked up 3 on the bargain tables because I always make sure I go to the bargain tables, see what bargains I can find. And then there was 1 book that I set out to buy in the first place. So the book I set out to buy in the first place was Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, which is the first book in the Grisha trilogy. I actually haven't even read the back of this. I've gotten this book because I've seen so many booktubers and people whose opinions I trust on booktube. They have loved this book, and so I bought it because I want to love it too. And I definitely will be picking this up sooner rather than later. Like I said, there are certain people whose opinions I trust above others. Not necessarily that I don't trust people, but they have similar tastes as I do, so I'm going to follow my instincts, basically. The next book I picked up is The Shadow Society by Marie Rudkowski, and this is about a girl who has no memory of her life before she was abandoned outside this fire station in Chicago. And what she doesn't know, she's actually from an alternate reality where certain events in time happen differently. Like, there's the Great Fire of Chicago. One reality didn't happen and one reality it did, and there is a boy who looks like he hates her, and it's just really weird. And there's a shadow society that she is going to go into to discover or undercover or something. I think I got this for like $4 on the bargain tables, so I picked it up because it seemed interesting. I'm always into a good alternate reality story. I love alternate realities. Which is funny because I also picked up Trial by Fire by Josephine Angelini, which is also a sort of alternate reality type story, which takes place in Salem. And I love the back of this, which basically says, I remember what I must do, even if it makes me the villain of my own story. And I love characters that are morally gray and they could be villains, and they're not like the squeaky clean good character. I mean, I'd love to write a story one day where it's the villain, you know, where people perceive that person as evil, but she's just, I don't know, I haven't written the story yet. But yeah, Worlds Collide, Magic Reigns, Love Burns. It was a bargain, so I picked it up. This last book I picked up, mostly my friend picked it up and showed it to me. I didn't actually see it, like I bypassed it. But it is The Clockwork Scarab by Colleen Gleason, and it says it's a Stoker and Holmes novel, which confused the heck out of me because I was like, Stoker and Holmes, that's Bram Stoker and Sherlock Holmes, those two don't mix. I mean, I understand that Bram Stoker was friends with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes, but, like, one's an author, one's a character. It doesn't really... what? But then I read the inside of it, and it's actually two female characters. It is Bram Stoker's sister and Sherlock Holmes's niece, who band together to solve a mystery. So I'm really hoping that this is going to be a strong female character-driven story. I hope it does not disappoint me, but it should be a good one. You know, it will probably be like a mix of like a Sherlock Holmes mystery and a Stoker monster paranormal kind of thing. Anyway, that is all for my June wrap-up / mini book haul video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I'm gonna bring you some different videos, like maybe a couple tag videos this month, and some in-depth reviews depending on how much I read this month. But I definitely want to try to do better with this channel. Instead of just doing the wrap-up and haul type videos, I want to explore books more. If you've read any of the books that I've mentioned in this video, please let me know in the comments below and what you thought of them. And yeah, bye!